Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Because you can't get enough of a good thing, here is Yvonne Craig, Part 2. I want to thank everyone who has watched, liked, commented, and even subscribed to One Step Past because of my earlier Yvonne Craig video. It's good to know that this iconic actress still leaves such a positive impression on the world today. Because of that, I wanted to share some more pictures of Yvonne I thought you would like to see. This picture shows Batgirl's original mask design from her pilot film in 1967. I'm glad they changed it. This particular design doesn't flatter her. It hides too much of her face, for one thing, and it kind of makes her face look droopy. You can see how Batgirl's real mask highlights her cheekbones and just makes the character look better. The funny thing is that, if Batgirl was a real person, she would probably want to have the mask that so incredibly alters her appearance. However, when you're creating a character for entertainment, you've got to make her look good. In the comic book superhero world, function always loses to fashion. When I made my previous video of Yvonne Craig, I realized one thing. I didn't have one picture of Batgirl's high kicks. This was one of my favorite things about her portrayal of Batgirl, and I didn't have it in there. What's wrong with me? Well, when I make my Babe of the Day videos, I'm very selective about the pictures that go in there. To a degree, I have to make the photos fit the narrative. I also had to include other photos of Yvonne because she didn't just play Batgirl. So I didn't do it then, but I'm making up for it now. Here's a high-kicking photo of Yvonne as herself. You can see how her past career as a ballerina really helped her out when she was doing this on TV. Here are some rare pictures of Yvonne from a film called One Spy Too Many in 1966. This is actually one of the times when they made feature films out of TV episodes from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Instead of being an original movie, it was really the two-part premiere of Season 2. Yvonne was not actually in the TV episodes, but she was in this movie. How does that make sense? Well, when it was decided to make the Man from U.N.C.L.E. episodes into movies, they decided to add extra footage of sex and violence that they could never do on TV back then. In One Spy Too Many, Yvonne's scenes were added to create a subplot. She was an uncle operative carrying on a flirtatious relationship with Napoleon Solo. It was totally gratuitous, but who cares? Here are some more great swimsuit pics of Yvonne that I thought you would like. I really like this one where she's standing in the tide. It's a once-in-a-lifetime shot that, thankfully, someone was able to capture on film. And, just for fun, this one. This next one comes from the Batman series. I know they had to make it more reserved because Batman was sort of a kid's show, but dang, it's still sexy. If you put Yvonne Craig in any kind of a swimsuit, you're just not going to hide everything. This bright yellow bikini pic comes from the Elvis movie Kissin' Cousins. I like this movie anyway. It's funny and enjoyable. Yvonne was one of the bright spots. She plays a totally unrefined hillbilly girl, but still manages to be sexy in a bikini. How did she pull it off? You tell me. A lot of people like the Batgirl scenes when she's in some kind of peril, and so do I. You'll notice in the show that while bad guys are actively trying to hit Batman and Robin, they're usually just trying to grab Batgirl and restrain her. Then they put her in some kind of a trap that the dynamic duo can easily get her out of. I don't think any of the bad guys really wanted to kill Batgirl. They just wanted to see her wiggle around and squirm a bit. I always liked the fact that when Batgirl was caught, she was still defiant. She was never like, "Poor me, what am I going to do?" Instead, she was like, "I've got to get out of this mess," and "Your evil scheme is never going to work." Sometimes she got herself out of trouble. Other times, Batman and Robin had to save her. Over the years, action heroines have become more brutal. It's true that Yvonne Craig's Batgirl is not Xena Warrior Princess or Alice from the Resident Evil movies, but I don't think she is any less strong-willed. One of my favorite scenes of Batgirl Peril is when she's tied up with the cat's whiskers. For some reason, she has to roll around a lot and wiggle quite a bit before she frees herself. Not that anyone is complaining. The most objectionable thing that ever happened to Batgirl, physically, is when she was sprayed with some kind of knockout gas. This was done a number of times in the series. Even Batman knocked her out with sleep spray. Another one of Yvonne's iconic roles was Marta, a green-skinned Orion slave girl in an episode of Star Trek called Whom Gods Destroy. This came after Batgirl, and even though it was a one-shot appearance, it's still one of the best remembered supporting characters of the original Star Trek series. Yvonne loved the character and the barely there dress, but admitted it was a grueling shoot. It took her 6 days to film her part, and she wore a green body makeup that was very hard to keep on. The makeup would come off if someone touched her, or sometimes just on its own. Then they would have to stop filming and green her up again. A lot of Batgirl fans love the Batgirl cycle. In my first video for Yvonne, I didn't have any pictures of her on the bike. Why? At the time, I wanted to get as many close-ups of Yvonne in the video as possible. I would have liked one in there, but didn't think it fit. However, a big part of the character's appeal is her awesome bike, so I decided to show it off here. In the original pilot pitch for Batgirl, before she was made a regular in the Batman series, her costume and her motorcycle looked different. One of my viewers commented that her original bike looked like it came from a junkyard. It's true that this original version of the Batgirl cycle just didn't get it. A superhero has to have a super bike, right? This was corrected by Batman Season 3, and the Batgirl cycle now looked worthy of the character. Unlike the Batmobile, of which 5 were made for the series, there was only one Batgirl cycle made. It was a customized Yamaha, although the model has been speculated upon. The one that was sent for the Batgirl pilot was a YCS1. It's unclear if the same bike was used for the Batman series, as it was changed so much. A lot of people think the bike in the series was a Yamaha YDS 5E. When the show ended in 1968, Batgirl Cycle went back to Yamaha so they could use it for car shows, comic book conventions, anywhere they wanted to show it off for publicity. It's strange, then, that nobody seems to know where this bike is today. Since it's a part of TV history, it should be preserved and celebrated. Here are some more photos of Yvonne just being herself. I really like this one, because it's rare to see her with a ponytail, and the look works for her. I also like her red, kimono-looking outfit. Here's another picture of Yvonne with long hair, showing off her bendiness. Okay, any woman who sits in a chair like this commands my attention. Just to prove that she's still hot in winter, here are some more cool photos. I've got to say, she's showing real bravery, sitting on an ice block in a bikini, eating an ice cream cone. Better her than me. Here she is holding a little snowman. Do you think he'll melt? And here are some more pictures of Batgirl, just because I feel like it. There isn't too much to say about these, other than the fact that they're just awesome. Yvonne was born to be photographed. Hello, Batgirl. Here's Robin copying a field while rescuing her. Yeah, I'm sure that needed to be done. Wink, wink. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed part 2 as much as part 1. It's been great to make yet another tribute video to an actress I've enjoyed since childhood. For you and for me, Yvonne Craig will always be a babe of the day. Babe of the day.